What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Zigzag Wrestling Club. My name is Corbin. Thank you for joining me here today. This is the most not popular podcast on the planet. You guys can't tell. I should sound perfect. Maybe. I'm recording this. I had to adjust some settings. There was still a little bit of poppage during my last recording, which sucks, and it really pissed me off because I bought this really expensive setup. But it's okay. I think I got it figured out now. Hopefully this sounds somewhat okay for you guys. I'm excited. I hope it sounds good, but also at the same time, I just don't really know. So we'll have to see in the future. Future me, I hope you're listening to this and you're actually happy. So a lot has happened this week. We got a SmackDown and a Raw that was pretty incredible considering what we have went through and what we have seen the past few months. Probably the best SmackDown I've seen this year. Actually, it's not even probably. This is the best SmackDown I've seen all year. And followed by that, we had a very good Raw. Raw's been definitely miles better than SmackDown, but we're actually getting to a point where we're actually really starting to click these storylines together, except for one person, which we will be talking about her a little bit later. We're going to start with King of the Ring. So, funny enough, in last episode, if you actually listened, there was a King of the Ring section. I don't even know if I mentioned it, but I had to cut it out because I didn't change the audio over from this to that certain scene, so there was no audio on it. But I need you to bear with me here because I'm going to show you what I put down. I'm going to explain to you what I put down last week. I didn't change it. I just decided to come on here, and surprisingly enough, I have been fairly successful. I'll explain to you why I think these certain people are going to move on, what's going on. I'm going to go through some of my predictions. One of them got massively screwed last night, so we're just going to see how that goes. But let me pop you over here. So this is my men's King of the Ring. I know it's chopped. It's chopped, but I just took screenshots and plugged them in. So let's not jump to conclusions quite yet. Let's go over here. Penta versus Obafemi versus Solo Sikoa versus Carmelo Hayes. So whenever I did all of these, whenever I picked all of these, I picked them before King of the Ring. In this slot, I actually did not pick Obafemi. I actually picked Solo Sikoa. And sadly enough, Solo did not get the win. Oba got it anyway, so I just moved Oba's picture in here. Along with that, we had the Mysterio, Braun Breaker, Trick Willie, and Damian Priest match the other night on SmackDown, which we're going to talk about in a sec. And we actually got Dirty Dom winning. And I did pick this. This was my snipe because usually if I go in for a big prediction like this, I try and create some sort of story for myself, whether that being maybe in most people's minds it was, okay, Braun Breaker's going to win, boom, and then Seth's going to win, boom, and then it's going to be these two fighting each other, and then that's like their final like winner take all, who wins King of the Ring, this kind of thing. That's what most people thought. That's sadly that's not true, but well, not sadly for me because Dom won, Dom beat him, but I tried to create a storyline kind of revolving around of previous feuds we've already happened. And if you go ahead and check out the right side, I did pick Seth Rollins to win. But I actually picked Braun Breaker to lose because I thought Seth was going to screw him over just one more time. It actually happened to be the inverse because this is wrong. Javon Evans is the person who should be slotted in here. Whenever we go through this again, I will probably make changes to this, but just here, I'll turn it upside down for you. That's wrong. I got it wrong, and I need to change it. The rest of these are right. Even though I didn't get Oba right. I got Dom right. I got that one. Gosh, wait, no, maybe I'm actually doing really bad. It doesn't matter. We got to wait till SmackDown. Because I do have Finn Balor winning again, well, in the match against Jey Uso, LA Knight, Royce Keys, and Finn Balor. Here's all I got to say. Royce Keys absolutely cannot win this. I think it's stupid. LA Knight could win this, and I'd be fine with it. If Jey wins this, I'm going to freak out. And it's not because I hate Jey. I like Jey a lot. Kind of just doesn't make sense for him to, like, listen to like 100% listen to what Roman's saying. We had LA Knight on Raw talking crap about the family. He said, screw your family, saying all these kind of things. I think potentially Roman or Jimmy or Jacob could get involved with this match, screw over LA Knight. I just don't think it makes a lot of sense for Royce Keys to win this match at all. And I feel like the story with Finn Balor sets up perfectly here. And then after that we'd end up getting Javon Evans versus Finn Balor down here, and that's a banger. That sounds like a banger to me. That's what I'm hearing. And then of course I did pick Balor beating whoever won this match, which I originally picked Seth, but now it is Javon because of the results we got last night. And then, of course, Balor wins. Balor moves on to the finals. And over back on the left side, I picked Dominic Mysterio to beat whoever won this match, which I picked Solo originally. Like, I got that wrong. I was like, Brock Lesnar's going to come back in the first match. Didn't happen. So now, funny enough, which we're going to talk about this a lot, we have Oba Femi versus Dominic Mysterio. Are we cooked or are we cooked? Because it's going to go one of two ways. Dom is going to lose in 30 seconds, or Dominic is going to assemble the Avengers. Tony Stark, Captain America, Black Widow, and Hawkeye. And the Hulk as well. And they are going to maybe beat Oba Femi. And that is a strong maybe. But realistically, I think this is the match where you have Brock get involved. I know a lot of people are like, well, Brock's going to get involved in the main event. That would make a lot more sense. The problem is, if Oba wins this, facing off against Finn Balor or Javon Evans, well, Javon would work very well because that was always Javon's thing back in NXT. He never got his win over Oba. He never got to hold the NXT championship. So that would be a full story if you wanted to have Oba win this, and then Javon would beat Finn Balor, going off my predictions, and then it would be Oba versus Javon, and maybe Javon finally gets the win. But Oba Femi does not need to win a Night of Champions. I don't think he's going to win the King of the Ring tournament because I think they're trying to set up the $1 million match. Oba Femi versus Brock Lesnar. They're going to do it once again. And I just think it wouldn't make any sense for him to win King of the Ring and then just be like, hold on, Roman, I have to go fight Brock Lesnar. That's not how it works. This homie's losing. It's just whether Oba loses in the second round or if he loses in the finals. The finals is a bigger stage to kickstart the Oba versus Brock storyline again. Though, I think it's a lot more fitting and a lot more funny if Oba Femi loses to Dominic Mysterio. My friend says that Dom is built like a 12-year-old girl. I'm not going to comment on that, but 12-year-old girl body on a guy versus mammoth. Who wins? Somehow the lying, the cheating, the stealing guy in a woman's body, as my friends like to say. I don't think he looks that bad. I think he's getting a little toned, if you ask me. But I just think it would be very comedic. I think it'd be incredibly ironic that the only people that have beat Oba since he's come to the main roster would be Brock Lesnar and Dominic Mysterio. And if you want to play the game you used to play whenever you were like 5, you were like, well, technically we beat the best team in the regular season. They went on to win the championships. That means we're better than them. That means we really won the championship. I'm going to do the same thing here. Dominic Mysterio beats Oba Femi. Oba Femi actually beat Brock Lesnar. Gotta think maybe Dominic Mysterio is stronger than Brock Lesnar. Just throwing things out. I think he'd probably take them on 2-on-1 handicap match. Dom versus Oba and Brock. You gotta think about these things. Because if he actually does end up beating him, who knows? All right, I'm done baiting. But yeah, and then I think we do get this thing where we get Dominic Mysterio versus Finn Balor. this works so well for me because it felt like they never got a full tie. They never got the end of their story. And if you wanted to run this back one more time, higher stakes, we already have the feud built. You'd build it up to Night of Champions just a little bit more, and you get Dominic Mysterio versus Finn Balor for the King of the Ring tournament finals. The story kind of just writes itself, in my opinion. Then, of course, you would have Finn Balor win this. I think personally, because I think they'd both be great King of the Ring winners. I just like Dom better as a Money in the Bank holder. And I want him to win later this year. So I feel like if they wanted to go that direction, it would make more sense to have Finn win this. But also King Mysterio could work. But also you have the Prince that never became king. You could have him win King of the Ring. Who knows? I'm coping. I'm a coping Finn Balor fan, and maybe he beats Roman Reigns. Wouldn't that be sick? I don't know about all of that. But something like that could happen. So I picked Finn to finally win this. But I would not be shocked if Dominic Mysterio won. At all. I would not be shocked. And I know a lot of people are going, well, dude, you're not even counting in Obafemi. It's like, no. Because if anyone is going to be Obafemi in this entire list, besides Seth, because he's the Beast Slayer, it's going to be Dominic. Because you have the big guy. And then you have the little rat cheater. Those are two different styles of how people win matches. And I don't know, it's kind of like rock, paper, scissors. Dominic right now is the scissors and Oba is the paper. But, other people like a Finn Balor's over here. He's the rock. Rock beats scissors. Scissors beats paper. Paper beats rock. I don't know. You see what I'm trying to throw together here? See the little analogy I'm coming up for you? But I don't know. I want to pick Dom, but the ultimate payoff would be having Finn wins. You finally let Finn get away from the Judgment Day. You finally give him like a little bit of a singles push. He gets like probably not the biggest win of his career, but from the past 3-4 years, this would probably be his biggest singles victory. Probably in 4 years, if he ended up winning the King of the Ring tournament, going on to face Roman Reigns, even if he loses, which I don't want him to, which he shouldn't. But even if he loses, like, it's still a cool story to have there. You could still build something up because Finn and Roman do have a lot of history. I just think it'd be cool to see Finn win. So, listen to Finn, you'll win. Give me Finn Balor to win. We'll check back in on this this King of the Ring thing in a minute. I guess next week, see how I did. And we're going to move to the women's. The women's is also pretty interesting. If you can't tell, I made a massive mistake. And which I didn't know. Top left corner. I got screwed. This is like whenever Purdue lost to Diddy University in the finals and screwed everybody's bracket. I really thought Becky was going to win this. Like, really thought Becky was going to win because she's been in the mid card for so long. It would be like, you could do it. Like, it'd be totally fine to just be like, oh, Becky Lynch challenges for the title. And everybody would be like, oh, okay. But I feel like it would make more sense to have her do this thing where she goes through the Queen of the Ring tournament. She finally gets the big win. She gets a big singles win, and she goes on to face Liv Morgan, and the story kind of just tells itself. I mean, Liv took away Becky's last women's championship, women's world heavyweight championship, I should say, which is the exact one she is holding right now. It kind of just made sense to me, but I suck, and Becky did not win. Becky lost, and I actually had her winning the entire Queen of the Ring tournament, so I appreciate you, WWE. Instead, Liv Morgan won. I'm not going to be the guy that jumps on here and goes, "Oh, this is stupid. Oh, this is stupid." I just need to know where this is going. I'm a little bit confused on their tactics. You have your women's world champion not defending her championship, and instead she puts herself in the Queen of the Ring tournament. The only possible way I see this working is if she runs the whole gauntlet and she wins, and Dominic runs the whole gauntlet and he wins, and then now you have King Dominic Mysterio and Queen Liv Morgan. That'd be their whole shtick for the next year, probably. Personally, I don't really even want that. I think it would be cool at some point in the future, but where everything is right now in WWE, I don't think that's the play. I really do like Finn winning. And that's another thing we didn't even talk about. Let's take a step back here. Say you do have Dom win this. Let's say Dom wins. Who does he face? He faces Dominic Mysterio faces Roman Reigns or Cody Rhodes. Like, he can do it. He's a fantastic wrestler, but it's I I feel like that kind of just clashes a little bit. I don't know. That might just be me. But we got Becky who ruined my Queen of the Ring predictions. Down on the bottom left, this match is the only one that has not happened yet. Sol Ruka versus Lyra Valkyria versus Charlotte Flair versus Jade Cargill. Sol Ruka holding a championship. We all know how this goes. She's not winning this. Lyra Valkyria just lost to Sol. I don't know. Maybe something happens with these two. Maybe they go back at each other again. Who knows? But I feel like if you have three people from Raw who won, I feel like you have to pick someone from SmackDown. I feel like they're trying to build Charlotte versus Rhea. Maybe maybe Charlotte actually wins this, and she becomes she's already the queen. She's the queen, Charlotte Flair. So like I could make sense of that, and I wouldn't really be mad about it. The thing I like about the King and Queen of the Ring so far is it's just been unpredictable. So unpredictable. Like going back to Men's King of the Ring, if you looked at the first set where Dom won on SmackDown, you would have guessed, Braun Breaker's winning this. You look up here, Obafemi's winning this. But granted, there was still that whole thing where it was like, maybe Brock might come in. You have top right corner with Seth, Javon, Tala Tonga, and Ricky Saints, and you have Seth Rollins lose. Obviously, interference with the Vision, and they're going to be stuck in the Vision verse for a little while longer. But that's okay. Like, you still are giving more opportunities to the younger talent. Like, none of these guys are above 30. Dominic is 29. Oba is 28, I believe, and Javon is like 24. Those might be wrong, but I think they're all under 30. That's great. That's fantastic. Now, all the rest of the guys in the tournament, the bottom right for the guys, Jay, LA Knight, Royce Keys, and Finn Balor, they are all over 40. But at least we are showing light to the younger generation. Over here, that's kind of what I wanted to see in the bottom right-hand corner with Kiana James, JC Jane, Raquel Rodriguez, and Bailey. I picked JC Jane to win because I felt like it would be really cool to have someone as young as JC, someone who's trying to break into the main event scene, actually get a win over these big stars. I thought it would have been cool to see Kiana James do it as well, just because we saw what she did in Elimination Chamber, and she did such a great job. So I would have liked her too. But in the bottom right, we got Raquel Rodriguez, which I am not mad about. I think Big Mommy Cool is so underrated. I think she deserves a title. I think she should, escape the Liv Morgan verse to some extent, which I feel like is the story they're trying to build. So this is the match that happened. I believe this was on SmackDown. And Raquel Rodriguez ended up picking up the win. So that whole JC Jane prediction of her going to the finals, that's stomped on. So the only one I've gotten right so far in the women's bracket is Lash Legend versus Julia versus Io Sky versus Roxanne Perez. I picked Io Sky. Shocker. She won. So other than that, I did a really bad job predicting Queen of the Ring. After SmackDown this week, and then I guess even it'll be after Raw, so we'll know the finals the next time I talk to you guys. And I just wonder how this is gonna play out. I'm really interested. I think the women's is a toss-up. Like if you wanted to have Liv Morgan run the gauntlet and then face Raquel Rodriguez in the finals, and then it could be this thing of like, oh sister, let me do it. I could become a double champ, and then Raquel's like, nah, twin, and she just like Tahana bombs her. And then all of a sudden they're facing off at Night of Champions. Like I think that would be a cool storyline. Um, if you wanted to have someone like Charlotte Flair become Queen Charlotte, like I guess you could do that. If you wanted to have Io Sky kick it up and get back into the women's division, the top of the women's division, yeah, screw it. Let's let Io win, Queen Io. I think like that'd be sick. Um, I'm just less excited about the Queen of the Ring because uh, I don't know where they're going. I'm not saying it's bad by any means, but I just think the men's is so interesting because of who they have picked. They've picked all the young talent, and they've picked these up and comers, and I think it's cool that they're giving them the opportunity. So those are my predictions. We'll kind of just see where it goes from there. So let's run over to SmackDown real quick. Let's talk about that. So we got Gunther and Cody. They run out and they start talking, talking crap to each other. And they're honestly getting me hyped for their story. Like, obviously, I didn't love the finish to Clash in Italy where it's like, Gunther was like, oh, my leg was under the bottom rope. Just like, I would have just preferred if Cody got the title personally. But we've already discussed that in full. Here's my problem with this segment. You had Gunther and Cody going at it, like super intense moment, and then all of a sudden we get freaking Sami Zayn's dumbass comes out and just ruins the moment. Just ruins the moment. I was like, this was totally cool before you walked out here. And it's just like, eh. And then he storms off to the back after he gets made fun of and booed out of the building by the fans. And Cody's like, yeah, you're a nobody. And Gunther's like, yeah, you suck. And, they're doing that whole thing where Sammy gets involved and they kind of just shoosh him off. I don't really remember all of it. I just remember Sammy coming out and I was like, dude, why? Just, just let the main eventers cook. Let Gunther and Cody cook up. We don't need you involved. I think probably somewhere down the road, it is leaning to this triple threat with these three. And my goodness, do not let Sami Zayn win this. But I think it would make sense to have like Gunther win, like I said, or you could have Cody pin Sammy or Gunther pin Sammy because then he can just eat the pin. And neither of them can look bad, which is a mistake they made in Clash in Italy. But, I digress. Miz gets shocked by the Danhausen machine. This was such a cool segment backstage. You guys know I love the comedy in wrestling. And you have the Miz on the phone with Kit Wilson, which was probably my favorite part of the segment. And he's walking around and he's looking for Danhausen. And Danhausen goes, don't touch that. And Miz slaps all the stuff off of this tray that was sitting there. And Danhausen's like, oh. And then Miz turns around, he kicks something else, he kicks it to the ground, and Danhausen's like, no, stop. And then he turns to this machine, he's getting ready to punch this machine, and Danhausen goes, yeah, you really don't want to touch that. And of course, Miz touches it, gets shocked, he like falls to the ground, and he's like sitting there like twitching. And Kit Wilson's like on the ground on FaceTime, like staring up at the sky, like, Miz, what happened? Miz, did you get him? I just thought it was very funny. I have been saying these two are just putting on just absolute comedic genius work. I don't know which one of the writers is kind of just like messing with this whole funny storyline down on SmackDown, but I'm just loving every bit of it. I want to get Big Dan in another match. I really did enjoy him. I want to see him in a different feud as well. I want to see where this whole story with him like cloning someone. I think it'd be funny if he like cloned someone who's going to make a return. And the reason I kind of just slowed down the speech is because I actually saw something online saying that he's going to try and clone himself and he's going to just make Baron Corbin, which I think would be awesome. Or Tom Pestock, I guess, if you want to go off his indie name. But I think it'd be cool if they did something like that. I don't want another thing where it's like Miz goes against Danhausen wherever and out comes the Mini-Hausens again. We already did that. We already played that bell. We already played that note. It would be cool if we got someone else involved and like maybe they wore like the Danhausen face paint. Like maybe that's how like CM Punk returned for like a one night one off. and it's like obviously CM Punk, but he's wearing the face paint. Like that would be fun, something like that. Um, like we could run this whole bit where he's trying to clone someone or make another person for a pretty long time because it only eats up one backstage segment on a 3-hour show. So I don't really have any problem with this being a consistent thing. But I just hope that there is a path or a light at the end of this tunnel. Not that I'm saying this is bad because I'm really enjoying it, but I hope there is a resolution to what is going on in the story. The Queen of the Ring match absolutely cooked. Everybody was involved. Like I was saying earlier, like with the women's side, you had, oh my gosh, wait, which match is this? Hold on. Oh yeah, this is Julia and did I just say Julia? Kiana and Bailey and JC Jane and Raquel Rodriguez. I love whenever Fatal Four Ways get everyone involved. My least favorite thing in wrestling is seeing someone get left out because I know how good this certain person is. Um, I hate it whenever I don't like hate it whenever they're like, all right, let's just bury them under the ladders immediately. That's like a cool story to tell. Like this is the most strongest person in in the match, so we need to take them out. That's fine. I just don't like it whenever someone goes to get in the match, gets like punted into the corner, they get kicked a bunch of times, and all of a sudden you don't see them for another 5 minutes. And they come back into the ring, they maybe get like one bit of offense in, and then they get beat up by a different person, and they're out of the match again. And you only see them for like a total, like 1 minute combined total in the match. I don't like that. Like, and that has happened a few different times. I can't think of a direct example, but if you look up like a, if you find a crappy fatal 4-way match, men's and women's, you'll start to notice that not every single member is like pulling their weight or being in the match as much as you think they probably should. I just felt like everyone in this match was involved. And that was my favorite part. You had, Julia kind of getting involved, and you had Kiana sliding in, and Raquel, being the beast that she is, shoving everybody off. Bailey's being a technician, but they're all like sliding in and out. So they're getting this one-on-one time, but also kind of moving into these one-on-twos, like a little like everything was just bouncing back and forth so well for me with this match. I felt like everybody's timing was just immaculate. Um, I like that they built Raquel to be this big force. I like that they keep constantly backing that because I do think Raquel can be a huge player in the women's division. Um, and they also just went through so many moments where all four members were involved. It wasn't this thing where it was, okay, let's just make sure we have constant one-on-ones inside the ring. So, so like people can kind of keep their attention on what's going on inside of the ring. Instead, it was having all these moments where it was like all four of them would go out of the ring, all four of them would do something on the outside, and then two of them would get thrown in and they would have a little one-on-one, and the other two would get back in, and now they're having another four-person moment. I just thought that this was such a good way to produce this match. Uh, my favorite fatal four ways have always been when it's a one-on-one and then another person gets involved and it just keeps like switching in and out. So this is the part where I do actually like where it's a one-on-one, but it'll be a one-on-one, then this person over here like Raquel wins, and then all of a sudden Kiana James slides in and she gets a bit of offense, and then maybe she still gets taken out by Raquel, but then in comes Bailey, and Bailey starts putting in work, and like that's just the best way to run a fatal four-way in my opinion. And then this finish was just sick. It was sick as hell. We have the moment where Kiana and Julia are arguing. Very, very important. There was this little slip up. Kiana thinks Julia screwed her over. Obviously, there are no replay boards in WWE. People never know what actually happens. But this was a cool moment. This is a cool way to try and break them up, I guess. Um, and then after that, Bailey comes in, hits the rose plant, and Kiana just sells the hell out of it because you have to with that move. And then, of course, JC James rolling encore comes in, a super kick, I believe, from Kiana James, and then all of a sudden a Tahana bomb from Raquel Rodriguez. And Big Mommy Cool, like I was talking about earlier, she picks up the win. And I would just like to see her win this, just in full. Like no weird shenanigans. Hey, is my computer's totally too close. I'm so sorry for everyone on video. You were just staring at the the top part of my computer for so long. My bad. Anyways, I just like the fact that Raquel is getting her flowers here, and people online for the longest time were like, she's boring. Yeah, she's this. Yeah, she's. I personally have always liked Raquel. I think she's very important to have because, like, a lot of guys, like, of course, we have the Obafemis, the big shows, the great Khali's, the Omases. You need the big guys to help the other guys look very strong. Like this is how Rey Mysterio got over. This is just an example. Rey Mysterio beat Mark Henry, Great Khali, and the Big Show in a 3-on-1 handicap match. Is it ridiculous? Yes, but that's what the big guys were there for. The big guys are supposed to make the not so big guys look really good whenever the time comes. And she could be that person in the women's division. And also, along with that, she could win some titles by being that big force and putting all the work in like she constantly has over the past 8 years or however long she's been in it. She's just doing a great job. I'm happy she got the win. Immediately after the match, Julia and Kiana break up. What a cheap pop that they got because they knew the people in where was this? Italy? This was Italy, right? Uh Everybody was like already cheering for her even though she wasn't even in the match. They were freaking out for her already and they were just like, let's have them break up so they'll just cheer for Julia even more. This is like a place you could do it because in the United States, sadly enough, people don't really care about Julia, and doing this overseas just made it seem a lot more important. I just think I'm it's really good for these two. I'm really excited for these two because I want them to have this mainline feud. I think it will raise both of their stocks exponentially. Just because we've only seen them as a tag team ever since they got pulled up from the main roster. Yes, Julia's been doing her thing with the U.S. title scene, and Kiana stepped away and she did Elimination Chamber, but like they were still always together for those kind of moments. And I'm just really excited to see these two feud against each other, and I just want to see how it works. ChatGPT cooked me up this question. What's a skill you wish everyone had? Common sense. Common sense is a pretty good one. I think there's a lot of people who could use that. That's a good skill to have. For example, someone I work with today, we were moving these big metal poles and painting them with a sprayer, and doing a whole bunch of work stuff you don't care. Look, there's all this paint all over my arm. This is after I've washed my arms like 5 times, by the way. Anyways, he takes the forklift and he's got to go get the pallets off the back of this truck. Well, there's a sidewalk here by the garage door we're working. There's like a sidewalk that we always like drive the truck on, and then there's like a bunch of gravel over here, and then behind that it's a whole bunch of grass. Where I live, we just got absolutely pummeled by rain the past 2 days, and so lo and behold, the grass is very wet, the mud is very wet, and turns out forklifts are actually very freaking heavy, which I thought everybody knew, but apparently this guy does not. So we're over there, and I unlock this barrier to hold them in from the side of the truck, and I pull it out, and I say, "All right, just go ahead and go at it from the side instead of the back, so you don't go into the grass." And he goes, "Yep, okay." And I'm like, "Okay." And so I step away. I take a drink of water. I take my mask off, my spray painting mask, and I look outside. And what does he do? He runs the thing immediately into the grass, trying to get the things off. And I'm like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "No, I'll get it." And I'm like, "Okay." Turn back, and he is now kicking mud up into the air because he is now stuck in the place I told him specifically not to go. This guy's like probably 60, 65 years old. Dude, like, just because I'm 19 does not mean that I'm wrong about everything. It's this pretty incredible thing. So I'm like, hey, hold on. Don't keep running the tires. I'll go get the tractor. I'll pull you out. So I go grab the tractor, drive back up. What is he doing whenever I pull back up? Just kicking mud up in the air, trying to get himself out. And he's like spinning the wheel and he's like drifting himself backwards. So he's just tearing up this grass area behind the barn. By the way, he's not the boss. He is not my boss. My boss was gone at the work site. And so I'm just like, okay, dude, you like really like massively messed this up, but it's okay. So I get there, I pull him out, and we finally get everything situated. We get the pallets, and he goes, well, how badly we mess up the yard back there? And I was like, well, I was like, you messed it up pretty bad. And he goes, yeah, things happen. I'm like, no, this wouldn't have happened if you had just listened to me. And also, he said, how badly did we mess it up? Who is we? We, as in me, did not do this. I was not a part of this. You drove the forklift onto some wet grass and some mud and were surprised whenever you got the 8 bajillion pound forklift stuck in the mud. This is not an us. This is a you. And I'm waiting for my boss to be like, well, you guys really tore up the back when I didn't do anything. So that's a skill I wish everyone had. I wish everybody had a little bit of more common sense. Chad Gable is back. SmackDown is back. SmackDown was absolutely fantastic this week. Like I was kind of saying earlier, I actually felt like things were happening instead of just 3 hours of slop. But Chad's back. I mean, dude, give him the U.S. title, the WWE Championship, King of the Ring, Money in the Bank. I mean, dude, I don't even care. Give me Chad from freaking Minnesota. That's my guy. And the pop he got just gave me goosebumps. I felt like this has proved his worth so much that they have to take advantage of this opportunity. He is so over. And it's not just, oh, he's over in Mexico. Oh, he's over in the United States. No. He's over on the internet. He's over in Mexico. He's over in Europe. He's over in the United States. Like, dude, everybody right now is cheering for Chad Gable. I think first stop, he's taking Penta's IC title. It's gotta happen. But this return where Nick, oh gosh, no, I'm sorry, WWE fans. The general manager for SmackDown, Nick Aldis, there it is. I have to like say the full thing in order to think about his name. Nick Aldis tells Sammy, he's like, dude, I got other things to worry about. I got other people. And Sammy's like, who's so important that you can't talk to me? Well, guess what, big dog? Big Chad. Big Chad's in the building. In the place. I mean, the place erupted. It was so cool to see him finally get his flowers because it felt like whenever I was cheering for him, a year and a half ago now, it felt like he would come out and everyone would just be like, oh, it's Chad Gable. That's it. I'm like, dude, that's my guy. He's sick. And I'm so excited for him and hopefully WWE does not fumble this. Fatal Influence kicks the hell out of Bree and Paige. Hey, WWE. Corbin here, 19 years old, runs the Zigzag Wrestling Club. I got a little bit of advice for you. If we don't put the tag titles on Fatal Influence within the next 2 months, I'm going to freak out. That's not even advice. That's a threat. That's a threat because I just don't understand why we still have Bree and Paige with the tag titles whenever Fallon and Henley and Laney Reed are right there and they're white hot heels that everybody's booing and they're like, gosh, women's tag division, let's have Bree and Paige beat the Irresistible Forces for the 800th time. Why? Let's just please give the tag titles to the Fatal Influence. That's all I gotta say. How long are we gonna wait until Blake Monroe actually gets on SmackDown? Now they're doing like actual new vignettes. They're not just replaying the ones from NXT. I don't know if you guys caught that, but like Blake showed up and she talked to Chelsea Green like 4 weeks ago, I think, and she's just been waiting to make her appearance. What are we doing? They should have put her on, like, honest to goodness, she should have just been in the Queen of the Ring. Like, whatever side, like, just put on a side, have her lose in the second round, but have her win her first match. Have her win the qualifier, the Fatal 4-Way qualifier. That would have been a great debut. She would have won the match. She would have gone down the line. She would have, fought with someone else, potentially could have feuded with that person a little bit later. Like, that would have made so much sense in my mind. And instead, she still just has these vignettes that she's filming from her house on her iPhone 17 Pro Plus, and we're just getting nothing out of it. Maybe we give Blake Monroe, the very good NXT superstar, a little bit of a story. And we actually, I don't know, maybe try a little bit? Sounds a little bit insane to say out loud, but I just think it's a little bit ridiculous. What's the greatest wrestling entrance of all time? Ooh, like specific. I won't go specifically. I might throw one in there, but I'm just talking about in general. So a person's normal entrance, someone's normal entrance, who's the best, and then I'll also do what I think the greatest is. Someone who, like, the Demon Finn Balor, because that's not Finn, that's Demon Finn. He consistently has incredible entrances. Another one on top of that, I feel like whenever someone says greatest entrance, I think of Kurt Angle. Him coming out, he's got the gold belt, and everyone's chanting "You suck" at him along with his theme music, and he's got the pyro that shoots off whenever he puts his hands up. That's a great one. I think Cody's entrance is fantastic too, with the whole intro of the wrestling has more than one royal family, and then along with that you have the pyro that goes off with his punch, and the fire extinguisher smoke stuff is going off in the back. Uh, Everybody hitting the whoa. A good theme song, like his is great as well. Um, I'm trying to think of some other ones that are Oba Femi's is great too. Everybody's singing along with Oba. He's doing his strut down to the ring, his big man strut. Like that works. But if I'm gonna single out a specific one, or a specific person, I feel like Seth Rollins consistently has one of the greatest entrances of all time. With the fire going off and the crazy looks and the people chanting and the great themes and I feel like he's just got it. He's just got it. But other than that, if I'm gonna pick a specific entrance, uh, one of my favorites, biased, is Dominic Mysterio WrestleMania 39, I believe. Whenever he is coming out of prison, in the squad car, and he is getting taken into the ring, and the sirens blaring, and all of a sudden the siren blends or fades straight into his music. I just think it's a really sick moment. And the second they slide that door open and he steps out, dude, cameras were shaking from how much people were booing him. I thought that was such a sick entrance. Another one, going back to Kurt Angle, the straps down against Randy Orton and Rey Mysterio. He pulls the straps down. He's got his title belt on. He does the thing, but it like keeps replaying his theme music, like the intro, which I know people have been like posting about that online. That's kind of what kind of directed my eye towards this question whenever I originally got it, because I was like, oh, it's pretty iconic, like ironic because everybody's talking about that right now. Um, Another entrance that I love, Seth Rollins from WrestleMania 36. Don't come at me if that's wrong. The one where he goes against Brock Lesnar and he comes out as the Beast Slayer, and we have that huge LED screen, and you see the sword go through the quote unquote Brock Lesnar skull, and it says Beast Slayer across the sword, and then it, like, everything like shuts off, and then all of a sudden Seth's music starts playing. Oh man, that one just gave me goosebumps first time I saw it. It was sick. Um, if I want to go older, you could go Eddie Guerrero pulling up in the lowrider, bumping up and down. I lie, I cheat, I steal, and that theme's playing in the back. I mean, there's so many good ones. It's hard to just pick the greatest wrestling entrance of all time. So those are kind of just all like what I think are really great ones. What a main event from Dom, Damien, Trick, and Braun Breaker. I mean, brother. Like this match, like I was saying with the girls, I don't need to reiterate. If it's a fatal four way, the only way it's like fantastic is if we have all these moving parts that are working simultaneously. You have the Judgment Day getting involved. You have Braun out here destroying people. Damian Priest and Dom reigniting their feud. Like Trick Williams is doing his stuff, but they all come together, all four of them, to make moments with all four superstars. That's what I like. I'm not gonna rehash that, but I really like how we got two different stories here. We got the Dom versus Damian Priest. Got to tell that story. It's kind of cool that Dom's now the leader of the Judgment Day, whenever Damian used to be the leader of the Judgment Day. And then also we're kind of touching back on the old rivalry, Trick versus Braun from NXT, because they would have their fights back in the past. And then we just got to mix and match both these superstars, and these aren't guys that get to go against each other. Like seeing Trick and Dom together is really cool. Damian Priest just being that big man to kind of combat what Braun Breaker was trying to do was really cool. And these superstars just made it an absolute hell of a match. Just looking at the King of the Ring card before this match even happened, I felt like this was the best setup match. You had the explosiveness from Braun Breaker. You had like the real threat, like the real probably person that was going to win. You had your U.S. champ Trick Williams out there to do his thing. Along with that, Damian Priest, tag team champion. And technically so is Braun Breaker. I forgot. Braun Breaker also tag team champion. But Damian is that big force that you got to look out for, that big man. He brings out the striking combos, but also he's just a really big guy. And then you have the rat character, Dominic Mysterio, who's kind of just looking to steal a win if he can. And also the AAA champion. Everybody in this match was a champion. Two tag team champions, AAA Mega Campion, and of course, the United States champion, Trick Willie. But I just looked at this card and I was like, oh my gosh, these guys are gonna fry. And they did. And I thought it was funny how I think Damian Priest maybe took his first superplex ever. That may be a lie, but he's just such a big dude. Watching him get superplex, I was like, huh. Is that like that's gotta be his first one? Or like that's just not very normal to see DP go that high in the air with the superplex. Thought it was a really funny moment. But it leads to the end of the match where we get Dom and Priest. Damian, deflects JD McDonough. He gets Dom up in the air and Liv Morgan low blows him. Dom, 619. To myself, I'm thinking, there's no way. There's no way, right? We got Braun Breaker in this match. Seth didn't even get involved yet. Uno, dos, tres. Un, deux, trois. The 3 count drops down, and I couldn't believe it. So Dom wins the first round of the King of Ring tourney, which we've talked about already. He advances to face Obafemi. And how do I think this could possibly play out? And I've already touched on this, but I just want to rerun the fact that I think Dominic is going to win this match. I think it would be totally like if Oba comes out and beats Dom in 30 seconds, it makes sense and I'm totally fine with it because it probably should happen. Although, looming force, Brock Lesnar, let's get him involved. Let's have Dom win this. Go face Finn, hopefully. Tell that story. And also, here's another thing. If Dom were to win this, he would hold this over everybody's head until the day he dies, that he beat Obafemi. That's all I'm saying. I think it'd just be a cool kind of dynamic. And I feel like these two together, like, I don't want it to be a squash match or like Brock gets involved immediately and all of a sudden Dominic wins. I want them to actually like kind of cook. Now I understand you can't let Dom get a ton of offense in, uh, because he's the heel, because he is supposed to get squashed by Obafemi. But I just think it'd be cool if, you let him get a Hurricane Rana, maybe he hits a DDT, maybe a suicide dive. And then, of course, Oba can hit him with, his wide array of moves that he hits on people. I just think it'd be kind of cool to give them 15 minutes. I don't want them to do this. I feel like it makes sense, kind of, but I I don't want this to be fast because the problem we have here is Oba's been beating people in less than 30 seconds. And realistically, should probably beat Dominic in 30 seconds. But I don't want that to happen because I want Brock to get involved later. So I don't know. Turn it over to Raw, and we're just going to kick off right back where we started. Dirty Dom and Obafemi start the show. Dom says, bend the knee and respect the stash. Obafemi says, I'm going to be your daddy. Thought it was funny. I think these two facing off on Raw is just going to be so funny to see. Giant behemoth man versus Dominic. I just think it's funny. Would you rather live in the city or would you rather live in the country? I'm going to make this quick. The city is just the worst place ever. Have you ever been to your city, your closest city? It sucks. If you live out in country, I guess kind of suburban-esque area where I live, I definitely might be in a suburban area. I don't know. Just if you don't live in a city and you're like, man, I wish I lived in the big city, and then you live in a big city and you're like, this actually sucks. Yeah, it's terrible. Every time, next to where I live, it's not that bad of a downtown. You got the homeless problem, and you got the drugs, and you got this, and you got that. But it's not that bad comparatively to New York. New York gotta be New York City, worst place ever. It's just the worst place. I would rather get launched into space with no helmet than ever go back to New York City. It's a bunch of rude people who think their lives are too busy to acknowledge you, and they're just terrible people, and everything's busy, and everything smells like trash, and New York sucks. I don't know why you'd and that's kind of just all cities in general. And if you want to go along with that, Las Vegas, that's technically a city, a bigger city. Even though I actually think in square mileage, I actually don't think it's that big. But that's another place I've been to where it's you're there for a day and you're like, this is awesome. And then you're there for the a day and a half. And that next half, you're like, ooh, I don't know if this is the spot. That's kind of that's kind of how it is. You go to Las Vegas for like 1 or 2 days, maybe three if you can handle it. But I just think there's too much stuff going on in a city, and it's too crowded, and it's noisy, and it sucks. Out in the country, out where not a lot of people are, it's just a lot better. It's a lot quieter. People I feel are more personable, for sure. I feel like people are nicer. People are way nicer out in the city. You got a lot more of these mom and pop places where you come in and you see people that you've known forever and they treat you like your family, and it's just a lot better of an environment. Now, granted, I've never actually lived in a city, so maybe you're sitting here yelling at me, no, dude, city life is goated. You're just wrong. The women's Queen of the Ring match on Raw was pretty great. I thought this was a just stacked lineup. You had Liv, Chelsea, Alexa, and then obviously Becky. The final minute, this whole thing where it's the fatal 4-way and everybody hits their finisher, I think is tough. That's my favorite ending to a fatal 4-way match, or just a bigger match with a lot of people in general. Like I already talked about, the Liv situation is just odd. But I'm not gonna jump on it too quick to be like, oh, this is stupid. Oh, this sucks. I kind of just need to see where they go. I need to see how this pans out, because maybe by the end of it, everybody's gonna be like, wait, that makes a lot of sense. Why they wanted to put Liv in this? Why this all happened? I think maybe that's a payoff we're gonna get. The only problem with this though is Liv can't lose the next round. She absolutely cannot lose, because it wouldn't make any sense. Because you could have put anybody Like you could have had Chelsea Green win this, and then she could have gone on to lose in the next round. Uh, so like Liv's obviously going to go to the finals now, but I just need to think we need to wait and see how this plays out until we fully jump on the oh this sucks thing. But the match itself, I so badly wanted Chelsea to win this because I haven't seen her at the Unprettier in so long because she doesn't always get to hit it. She gets a lot of wins by roll up, because obviously she's the heel, but she's not even a heel. She's like the anti-hero, but she's like a really crappy anti-hero that everybody loves. She's like Deadpool if Deadpool's superpower was just like not being good. But that's a lie because Chelsea Green is fantastic. I'm saying good as in like wins a lot because Chelsea doesn't win all the time, or she doesn't win a lot at least. Um, I just thought it was a cool ending because they got me. They totally got me. I was like, oh my gosh, Alexa Bliss finisher, Becky Lynch finisher, and then I was like, everybody's down because Chelsea's gonna hit the unprettier, the unpretty her, the I'm prettier, the whatever she wants to call it, and then Liv stacks her up and rolls over the top of the pin, and then Liv wins, and I was like, oh, they got me. I thought it was gonna be Chelsea, they got me, but it's okay because Chelsea's winning Money in the Bank. It's all good. Chad Gable is on Raw. This story, I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving the storyline of him going around and apologizing to all the people he tormented whenever he was the OGO Grande Americano. And he walks up and he apologizes to Penta. He's trying to right his wrongs. And we get this moment later where we have Penta versus Rey Mysterio. Great match, by the way. Great match. Just to talk about the match real quick though. This really feels like the Rey retirement tour. Personally, that's what it feels like to me. But my goodness, they absolutely cooked. Pence ends up picking up the win, clean. That's cool. And the aftermath was the best part. You have your two heels who are running around together that are making kind of like a cool splash in the tag division if you wanted to go that direction. You have Ethan Page and Rusev roll in. They rip the mask off Rey Mysterio, the biggest dishonor you can do to a luchador. And Chad Gable's music hits. If you want to listen to that little tune that played, that was not his original theme song that he left with. That sounded more like the Alpha. Oh gosh, what were they called? The American Alpha theme song that he used to have. I don't know if it was slightly changed. I couldn't hear it over the roar of people. But he returns, delivers massive suplexes, and people are going crazy. They're hitting the oh hey oh as every time he delivered one, and it was just so cool to see him back in the ring finally. And of course, almost completing this storyline, completing this arc, he returns Ray's mask. How freaking great of storytelling is this? I can't believe I said it. Raw's cooking. Raw's cooking with this storyline. And I think it's got to be Chad Gable winning against Penta at SummerSlam. It's in his hometown. Chad goes on this journey to learn Lucha Libre so he could beat Penta. And Penta has the IC title, and he makes his return, and he's in the Penta ecosystem. And I think it's time. It's just got to be the time, dude. I'm really pulling for him. Sol Ruca retains against Lyra Valkyria. Great match. I just want to make a quick long shot prediction. I don't want to sit on this for very long. Who beat Sol Ruca for the title? Who do you guys think? If you got a little prediction, drop it down below. I think somewhere down the line we could get two people coming to mind. Bayley. Bayley could definitely do it. Or Roxanne Perez. I feel like she's always like floating around the IC title scene, but she's never gotten a direct push. And I think the reason she's never gotten the direct push is because I don't think they want her to be the IC champ quite yet. I feel like if they're gonna decide to pull the trigger, they're going to go all the way with her. It's not going to be she's just going to challenge for it a few different times. Oh, she's going to lose to Sol Ruka a few times. I feel like if they're like, okay, Roxanne's going to go after Sol Ruka at the end of this, 3-match, 4-match series at this PLE, pay-per-view, whatever you want to call it, Roxanne wins the title. So, yeah, screw it. Give me Roxanne Perez to win. Rank the top 3 most overrated sports. I love this one. The second I saw this, I was like, I have to put this on here. Most overrated sport ever is soccer. And please don't yell at me. And this is my list. This is my list, not yours. If you want to throw your top 3 most overrated sports down below, go ahead. If you say golf, you're getting banned. So, because it's not golf. Golf's amazing. You'll realize once you grow up. Once you grow up, you're going to love golf. But I think soccer sucks. It's so boring to me. It's so boring. It's fun to play. Very fun to play. I think it's fun to like kick a ball around and just like go to an open goal and just like kick the ball into the goal. Like I think that's really fun. But watching it, now I'm talking about like watching, brother. Like it just puts me to it's not even like a good sleep. Like golf, I fall asleep during golf, but it's because it's soothing. In soccer, it's like I get like 5 minutes in my nap and they're like, oh, and the only reason they're screaming is because someone like kicked it and it went over the goal. They didn't even score. I think soccer is my number one. Next overrated, baseball. Watching baseball is horrible. Going to an actual game, great environment, very fun. But just watching it on TV, I would never. It's like watching paint dry. And the number 3 most overrated sports. Ooh. I see this says sports, but I'm going to get really specific. I just think non-finals NBA basketball is the most lobotomizing thing to watch ever cuz nobody tries. More than half the teams are sandbagging trying to get the number 1 pick, and you have this homeboy plus his entire team who are just flopping like no one's business trying to get these calls and yada yada yada. I think the finals is where things get spicy. Everybody starts trying. I think it's fun. I just the NBA, the normal season is just so pitiful. College basketball is great year round. So that's why I didn't want to just say college basketball. I wanted to say the NBA specifically. The main event of the King of the Ring qualifier was a banger. I really liked having Tala Tonga in this match. Tala Tonga being in here kind of just gave everybody a big man in a big force that everybody had to focus on. I just thought it was a cool aspect, and he's been getting so much better in the ring, like I've been saying. I thought Ricky Saints was also a good fit. Which whenever I was looking at the lineup, I was like Ricky Saints. I was like, what is he doing in here? But it actually makes sense. You need the sneaky heel for people to boo and for maybe like to get a roll up, and people are like, no, not this guy, because like that's like how he wins. Like he wins like with the sneaky roll ups or like shoving someone out after they hit their finisher and picking up a pin. Things of that nature. You needed a guy like Ricky Saints in this match. And then my favorite part of this match, you have Seth Rollins coming out of nowhere, running across the table and delivering a stomp onto the table to Tala Tonga, and then getting up on the barrier and hitting the mega stomp to officially put him out of the match. Super sick. Runs into the ring, gets ready to stomp Ricky Saints, and the Vision comes in, takes the win away. Of course, they were going to get involved to kind of make sense. And then Javon wins with the OG cutter. How amazing is that? I would have never picked Javon winning that in a million years. I love it, though. It just kind of came as a very good surprise. So that is the end of my Raw review. I have one more thing before I let you guys go. Uno mas. We're going to rank finishers. Blind ranking finishers. Let's do it. I need to pull up a little 1 through 5 here so I don't forget, because I constantly forget where I put each finisher. This one says Sin Cara because I was making sure it worked. I really wish I did get to give him. Well, I actually couldn't even 100% tell you what his finisher was. But let's spin the wheel and let's see who we get. First off, oh brother, KO Kevin Owens. Okay, so here's the problem. Are we doing the pop-up power bomb or are we doing the stunner? I'll say they're current. They're current. Um, so the stunner. His stunner is good. It's not as good as Stone Cold's, but I don't hate it. I definitely don't hate it. I think it's a great finisher. Um, I'll put KO's stunner at 4. That might seem really low, but I feel like we're gonna get a lot of bangers on this list, and his just isn't my absolute favorite because I like the pop-up powerbomb more. That's what ruins it for me. Next up, ooh, JD McDonough, and I believe this person spelled his name wrong. Did he spell? I don't know. I don't know how to spell his name. JD's moonsault is a thing of absolute beauty. I mean, I don't even know what to say. I think it's the prettiest moonsault in the WWE right now, without a doubt. But it's still just moonsault. It's not anything absolutely insane, but it is still very good. I'm gonna put JD's moonsault at 3. Lock it in at 3. Next up, let's see what I get. Is this AJ? AJ Styles. I'll say the Styles clash because they're both like sometimes he wins with the phenomenal forearm, sometimes he wins with the Styles clash. So I'll say the Styles clash because that's my more favorite of the two. I think. Um, but even though they're both great, you got to put it 1, right? I think there is very few that would beat this out on here. Styles clash at 1. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, let's put AJ Styles Clash in the 1 slot. That just gives us a 2 slot and a 5 slot. Let's see who we get next. Oh goodness, Mrs. Lyra Valkyria. I think she has a very cool finisher. The Nightwing is very cool. Okay, here's the problem. I don't like it better than JD's Moonsault, so I can't put it at 2. I It's really close whether I like it more than KO Stunner or not. It's very cool. I'm gonna put it at 5, but here's the thing: this is not like um, this is not me bashing her and putting hers at 5 out of a 5 out of 5 list. The Nightwing is very cool, like very very cool. It's just not as good as the other ones on here, so I'm gonna put it at 5, and that leaves us a 2 slot. So we're gonna need something crazy here in the 2. Uh, who are we? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Dirty Dom. Yeah, I think that's perfect actually. Dirty Dom's frog splash is great. I just love the frog splash in general. I do like it less in the Styles Clash because the Styles Clash to me is just like something you don't see every day. A bunch of people hit the frog splash. It's not like super inventive. So you got to put the Styles Clash at 1, but I do like it better than JD's Moonsault. I like it better than KO Stunner. I like it better than Nightwing. So that's perfect. So, final list of the finisher blind ranking is at 5, we got Lyra's Nightwing. At 4, we have KO's Stunner. At 3, we have JD's Moonsault. At 2, we have Dominic Mysterio's Frog Splash. And at number 1, we have the Styles Clash. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of today's episode. I had a lot of fun on this one. I want to start putting in like the wheel almost every single week. Maybe we'll do like a little music segment, something like that. Just throw in some more fun ideas. Like seriously, if you have anything, throw it down in the comments. If you have any comments on what I just talked about throughout this episode, please, I would love to talk to you about it. And I just think we are in for some very interesting wrestling within the next week. So let's just make sure we're watching SmackDown and Raw, especially Raw, because that main event is going to get crazy. Dominic Mysterio versus Oba Femi. Are we going to get the ruler becoming king? Or are we going to get King Dominic? Pretty gross. Pretty crazy. Or with my prediction, are we going to get the prince that becomes king? Gotta think about it. I think I'm just so excited. I think I'm excited for what's going on. I haven't been this like smiley to watch a SmackDown in such a long time. I always want to watch Raw, but I'm actually excited to see if Finn does end up pulling out the win in the King of the Ring tournament. So, if you guys have anything for me, like I said earlier, drop it down below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Follow the podcast if you're listening on Spotify. Make sure to give it a rating. Helps me out. If you guys want to, go follow the YouTube as well, because we post a lot of fun content over there, and I need to get back into the swing a bit, but I'm busy with work. But once the summer's over and I'm back up at college, I will be posting probably a video, 2 videos a week. We just gotta get through the tough times where I don't have a lot of time, and then we'll be set. So I really appreciate you. Did I really just mess up my outro? Hold on. Rewind. I really appreciate you guys. I really appreciate you guys joining me today, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Hey, I finally got it. Hey, look at me. Look at me go.